Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 454 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by the Funk Master himself. He's angry for a variety of reasons.
I'm fired up!
He's most angry about the USA Wrestling bracket, but I'm making him wait.
It's so dumb, Christian. Don't make me wait. I'm like a freaking caged animal.
All right. We'll unlock the cage. For some reason, we're not gonna start with Iowa Penn State. We're gonna start with Ben Askren's bracket rant, just because he's so angry. Go.
Listen, I'm so annoyed because USA Wrestling, normally they execute not all that great on stuff like this, but this is people's life. This is people's life, Christian. Some of these guys have trained for a lifetime to make an Olympic team. This is their one and only shot. And I know some of you guys are poo-pooing it because there's Dake and Burroughs in the bracket and you don't really think that anyone else can make it on the team. But we had Jaden Cox and Frank Molinaro make it from a 9 seed. So to just say F what the bracket looks like and make it totally unfair is ridiculous.
So let's pull up the USA bracket first.
I made a fair bracket in 5 minutes on a damn podcast last week. USA Wrestling can't figure this out. They've had months.
So we're pulling up the bracket that you hate. Tell me what's wrong with this bracket.
Okay. Here's the 4 things that I came up with that are really, really stupid within 5 minutes looking at it. I hope you guys can help me. Number 1. Okay, so essentially the Dake round is the semis, right?
Yes.
Which means the round before that is the quarters, which means the round before that is the round of 16. There are going to be more than 8 competitors in this bracket, which means because you are giving 2 buys in the semis, not 1, you will essentially push it all the way back to the round of 32, meaning some of these guys will have to cut 5 matches in the day instead of 4. If you make it only 1 buy in the semis versus 2, you have essentially 12 spots in the round of 16, not 8. Okay, so that's the first obvious one. Does that register with you guys?
That registers, but that's also nothing new that some guys would wrestle more matches than others. That happens at the World Championships, the Olympic Games, listen, happens at the World Team Trials.
Christian, I understand that, and if it has to happen, well, I don't like the World Championships brackets either. They're bringing up their dumb brackets.
Yeah, those are terrible.
That makes it look dumber, not better, okay? So,
yeah.
Okay, so number 1, you're making people wrestle an extra round when you don't necessarily have to. Okay, number 2. Being the 4 seed in this bracket is significantly better than being the 3 seed, and probably even better than being the 2 seed. Okay, so if you're the 4 seed, you only have to upset the number 1 seed. If you're the 3 seed, you have to upset the 2 seed, Dake, and then win in the finals. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. Furthermore, if you were to seed Dake, consider him a seed. You then have the 1, the 3, and the 4 all on the same side of this bracket. You have the 1, the 5, and the 6 on the other side. I'm sorry, the 2, the 5, and the 6 on the other side. That is just dumb. Dumb. And lastly, the number 1 bracketed seed could possibly here have 2 rounds less than the 3 seed, because or the 3 or the 2, because there could potentially be another round of this bracket, and the 1 seed won't have to face that.
Okay. So.
All right. So dumb. It's easy. Just fix it. It takes 2 seconds.
All right, and you have created the fix, and we can pull that up as well. You believe you have the solution. So your main thing is the bottom side is far tougher, and that there are some guys in different parts of the bracket that will have way more matches, potentially 2 more matches.
And the 3 seed is getting negatively punished over the 4 seed, right? It doesn't make any sense.
That's true, because Dake's on his side.
Correct. So if you put in the bracket, I pull up the other bracket, guys. Yeah. If you do this, Dake is here, right? So then essentially, so if we put all these numbers down by one because we could take Dake out of the seeding, you essentially have the 1 and the 2 on top and the 3 on bottom, which is fair, right? The 1 and the 2 should get a better spot than the 3. Then you will get the 5. He would just have to beat the 4 to get the Dake, which he's already down there. So this bracket, and you can go all the way to 12 participants without pushing to the round of 32, which I think this bracket will probably end up with 10, 11, or 12 participants in it. So you'll be able to do it with the round of 16 and not push to the round of 32.
Okay.
It's significantly more equitable. It takes no effort. USA Wrestling needs to do the right thing and do this because, like I said, Christian, this is like, haha, funny that we're talking about a bracket. F that. This is some guys' livelihoods. Some guys have put a lifetime of work into this, and to not make a half-ass effort to put a good bracket together is doing those guys a disservice and an injustice.
So why do you think they didn't do this? I mean, this is not just a USA Wrestling. This is athletes are signing off on this. Coaches are signing off on this.
Lack of brain power, effort, and discernment.
Some brain power.
One of those. It's one of those. Either they didn't think about it hard enough, or they don't care enough.
So you're treating Dake as the 1, and so you say you would put the 2 and the 3 up top, right?
I mean, that's a fair thing to do, isn't it?
Yes, and keep them opposite of, and put,
yeah.
I don't see.
I think a lot of people are kind of water under the bridge on this because Dake and Bros are so good. But again, we only have to go back one Olympic cycle to see 2 9 seeds make the Olympic team.
Yeah.
We don't got to go back far.
Well, at 2 weights where we were weaker, right? But that shouldn't matter. That's immaterial to the point of this could be a different weight class where we weren't as established or whatever. So, yeah, I think I don't see any holes to poke in this scenario, Ben. I think this is pretty good.
Okay, cool. USA Wrestling, do the right thing, get it done. I'm sure someone's going to tweet you this link. And just listen, don't be stubborn. Get it done. It's simple.
Stubborn. I think it'll be pretty tough to get it changed at this point in the season, but
why? We have having 2 months left. All you gotta do is freaking rewrite the bracket that you blew in the first place.
Because I think they have to get, how bureaucratic, the
I think it has to get approved by like USOC and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How did the USOC blow it? It's ridiculous.
Well, they don't.
I'm so annoyed by this whole thing. It's like it was easy. Like literally, Christian, we talked about it for 5 minutes. I did it on a podcast. Like lack of brain power or lack of discernment. It's one of those 2 things. But how could they not figure out how to do it the right way? I made 4 arguments within 5. I saw their bracket. I'm driving to freaking Tires Plus because my wheel's doing this a little bit, and I'm thinking, what are they doing? This is the dumbest bracket ever. And within 3 minutes, I think of 4 flaws in it. How did they not think of these flaws? It's ridiculous.
I'm not sure, Ben. Yeah, I wish I had more to say about it. I feel like I'm not being a good partner here, but I'm.
It's all right. You tell USA Wrestling to get it done also.
All right, I'll throw it. We're USA Wrestling and us are connected through a Slack channel right now, so I'll just shoot it over the
What's Slack channel? I don't know what Slack channel is.
Slack is like how companies like have internal communication. Yeah, so like instant messaging, basically, but the whole company's on it.
Got it.
And we connected ours with USA Wrestling now for efficiency of communication. Now, okay, hopefully we get them fixed.
Oh, another fired up topic. Let's go to this RBY-DeSanto. There's so many ungodly stupid takes on this one. Let's go.
Okay, let's go because Iowa Penn State happened. It was as cool and dramatic as you could have asked it to be, if not more. And maybe we can go into a more broad discussion about how cool it was later. But there are like 9 things within the RBY-DeSanto match that have to be discussed, including the rankings debate / fallout that has many people really fired up, which is not really actually something to be fired up about. But first, I think we have to start with the match itself, which begins with a shot from Austin DeSanto and a near ankle counter from Roman Bravo Young that hurts Austin DeSanto. And so I think we start with that, Ben. The legality, the illegality of that hold, do you see anything problematic there?
No, I even kind of made a video detailing it. I also made a video and I talked about a lot of things that college wrestlers are doing that I don't like. But you and I both looked at the rules this morning, and there's nothing that's expressly outlined in there besides the twist and knee lock, which who in God's green earth knows what that is.
I think we all know.
That is outlined in the rules. Listen, scrambling's dangerous. I think I hurt my knee 5 times before I kind of figured out how to protect myself and move the right way. It's dangerous. There's a lot of ways your knees bend, and it's unfortunate, but DeSanto's knee got injured. I don't think there was anything even slightly illegal that Roman Bravo Young did. Potentially dangerous, but maybe not even that.
So here's my question. I'm reading the NCAA rules book, and first of all, it's funny because 84% of it is all about like head scissors and stuff that's like really doesn't actually pose an injury threat of any kind. There's so little in the rule book about knee injuries and protecting the knees, which I think is something that should be more of a point of emphasis given the number of knee injuries in the sport. Now,
well, part of it, Christian, is it's so hard to say who did it, right?
Right.
I mean, for example, like the Nolf Van Brill, Nolf did that to himself. Are you going to blame it on Van Brill, right? I mean, like, you see what I'm saying?
Some people try to.
So, yeah, well, depends which fan base you ask. They really thought Van Brill did that on purpose. So, but my point is, do you agree or disagree that there should be some sort of rules outlined for knee protection? And if there are some things that have not as much wrestling utility, it's not a wrestling technique more so than it is something that just hurts someone that prevents a scoring opportunity.
I don't have any trust in anyone to get this right because these scrambles are so they're just so all over the place. There's so many different things that can happen, and to ask a ref to know every single little way a knee can twist and get hurt. And on top of that, everyone's knees are different. Like if you watch like Seth Gross and the way his hips and knees move, because a lot of it is about the hip mobility also. You watch the way his legs and hips move versus someone else, right? It's different. And so, I think the one thing that could add a lot of safety, and I don't even know if I like this. I've been thinking about if I like it or not, but it would add safety is not allowing wrestlers to grab the bottom of the shoe, because not allowing the foot to turn, that's a lot of what hurts the knee. But again, I don't even know that I like that.
So yeah, that's what a lot of people have been coming back to is the bottom of the shoe, grabbing the toe. They say that is the scenario where knees can get injured. Right.
Yeah. It's a great hold though. It's a great hold. There's no sweat on the shoe. It's got a good grip. It's good. It's a good space for the hand.
Well, yeah, Ben. I mean, of course, but what does that have to do with anything? No one's saying there's a lot of things that would be a great hold and a great move, but like if knees are just going to get ripped up, then we should do something about it.
Well, but I don't know. I haven't thought all the way through every single situation about how grabbing the shoe or the bottom of the foot is going to affect every single wrestling situation. And so I don't want to say, let's ban it, right, before I start thinking through, because there's so many places where I grab a shoe or a shoe's the right place to grab because it is a good grip and it allows wrestling to happen. So I don't want to say, let's do this without thinking about all of the consequences of what it's going to look like.
Well, to me, it's just the angle that the foot and the knee was taken to. Now, I watched the RBY one. Now, a little bit what's fresh in my mind is everyone's talking about this Brayton Lee DQ. And I watched that one, and that to me looked a lot more dangerous and potentially blatant than the RBY one is very subtle. And the idea, the notion that a referee would have the time to put a stop to that, the time from which he goes to the foot to when he pulls it out, there's no time for preventing that. So I don't fault the ref one iota for it being called that way, right? Unless you're going to say grabbing the bottom of the shoe is illegal.
Yeah, it's DeSanto's fault too. All DeSanto has to do is move his ass forward a little bit, turn his knee, and his knee doesn't get hurt. So his stubbornness and his lack of knowledge of that position. Now, if you do that, you probably put yourself in the cradle. But you don't hurt your knee, right? It's a little bit of both there. So
that was another thing, Ben. So DeSanto gets in. RBY goes near ankle. As DeSanto drapes, he goes near ankle. DeSanto immediately comes back down to the mat and just completely freezes. To me, it seemed like he was not sure what to do in that scenario. Yeah,
exactly. And so I kind of showed the video, but the farther you are back on your haunches, the more your heel is close to your butt, the more when that bends, that's going to hurt your knee, right? The farther you are up with your butt off your heels, the more your leg is going to bend. And then if you really need to bend past that, you turn your knee to the ceiling, and then it's no problem whatsoever. Obviously, the danger there then is that you're going to be cradled probably unless you do something else.
Right. Yeah. So they stop it. For potentially dangerous, RBY was going to take him over in a cradle. It seems undoubtable. For sure. And he also, we've seen Roman that's been an evolution for him. We saw him hit a near side. I'm pretty sure it was near side against Ridge Lovett, which was huge for that duel. So definitely credit to him. But then the match continues on. But before the match continues,
hold on. When I watched it back, I was does the ref stop it in the right time, or does he always stop it because DeSanto yells? What do you guys think on that?
Oh, I think he absolutely stopped it because DeSanto yelled.
That's why he stopped it.
If he,
so you can't just yell to stop.
That's why Roman got choice. Yes, you can scream out and it's injury time. You give up choice.
You should give up a takedown. You should give up a takedown because what if I was going to get taken down and I just yelled?
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
I think you're right. There should be probably a takedown call there.
A lot of times you see it. A lot of times they'll give the takedown.
Yeah, I think often you do. Well,
I think the problem is he locked the cradle up, and then DeSanto yelled. He didn't set him to a hip yet.
Yeah.
Like when the ref stopped it, I don't think he put him to his hip.
Sure, but the takedown was obviously imminent at that point.
Well, Ben. What's you're asking for is the referee to give a takedown on assuming the finish of a shot. If a guy's in on a high crotch,
I'm not. I'm saying a defensive guy shouldn't be able to excuse himself from poor positions by simply yelling out. That's what I'm saying.
You don't really see it manifest itself that often.
Well, that's what happened.
You rarely see, and also, so basically, if you get hurt and you are in danger of being scored on, you think you should give up the takedown?
Yes. If you need to yell out, yes, you should give a takedown.
Okay. I don't know. I don't really agree with that. Because it really
if the referee sees something that's illegal or potentially dangerous, he has the ability to stop that. If you have to yell out to stop the action from happening, that should not be allowed because then people could game that rule set very easily.
You could game it the other way too. If I'm in on a shot, I can, maybe I hurt the guy I'm wrestling or something. Do something.
Come on.
What?
Come on, you're being ridiculous now.
Okay. Maybe a little bit. All right, so
I kind of point I want to hit on is should that pulling the knee out action, should that possibly be looked at as being called illegal? Because we saw David McFadden, Virginia Tech All-American, weigh in on this, and he said that exact position is what tore his ACL his freshman year. He's like, because it puts a lot of torque on it, and you really can't do anything.
You can do something though. You can turn your knee up. If you turn your knee up, it doesn't get hurt.
Well, I mean, he did that. DeSanto did do that. He turned it out, and his knee immediately went up, and that's when RBY locked the cradle up.
No. I mean, turn your kneecap to face the ceiling. So if your kneecap faces the ceiling, your knee will not be in any imminent danger whatsoever.
Okay, so turn it the opposite way that DeSanto turned it.
So essentially, your heel turns down and your toe turns to the ceiling, which is then why I'm saying maybe we shouldn't be allowed to grab bottom of the shoes, because if they grab the bottom shoe, you can't turn your toe to then free from the pressure.
Yeah, so your defense, the defense you're describing is not even possible if they have the bottom of the shoe, right?
Yeah, which is why I'm saying possibly that's something we could think about taking out. Now, I haven't thought about it in all the situations, so I don't want to say something crazy and say we should ban that, right?
Right.
Because there's other times when it's perfectly useful and not dangerous whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay.
And then hold on. And then so the other point would then be like, I mean, you guys both wrestled. I'm sure one of the first things you teach in wrestling is grab the ankle, stuff the head, put your hips in, and pull the leg to the outside, right? I mean, that's like one of the first sprawl defenses taught. I'm going to go teach it to our 5-year-olds tonight at the little kids class. So are now we're going to make pulling the ankle to the outside of the body, we're going to make that illegal? That's kind of absurd, right?
Well, I think when you grab the shoe, pull it up, you're bringing the heel to the butt. Not bring the heel, put the heel up and out, right?
But Bob Young didn't pull it out. He didn't pull it off the mat, right?
Yeah, true.
So, and it still hurts. So I mean, yeah, it's a tough situation, and again, I think it's something where a lot of the athletes got to take the onus on them to protect themselves and understand and know the positions. That's like I told you, I hurt myself, I think 5 times in the first 15 to 18 months of my college career. None of them super serious, but I did hurt myself because I didn't quite know what I was doing, and I put myself in a lot of crap situations. And once I started figuring out, I can't go there, I got to move my leg this way, then I stopped being hurt because I started figuring out the right ways to move and how to protect myself.
Okay, as a medical doctor, Ben, how hurt is DeSanto?
Well, you know what? We'll get into the rest of the match. I didn't think he was that hurt at the time, and watching the way he competes the rest of the match, I don't think he's very hurt at all. I mean, he wrestled balls to the wall until RBY got back to that same position again, and then he gave it up. And even Tom Brand said in the post-press conference, he said if Austin could have calmed himself down, he could have continued.
And you mentioned that. I think about when Michael Kimmer was wrestling Edinburgh, he had his freshman year. A similar thing happened. His knee, it looked bad. I think Kimmer screamed out. He may have even injury defaulted that match. And I remember then Tom said something very similar to that effect where this is a guy, he's not really been injured before, and if you haven't been injured before, which is what he said about DeSanto, you don't know exactly what you're feeling and what's happening, and that you can actually go through with it, because if you haven't had a number of knee injuries. So he said that then about Kimmer, and so him saying that now about DeSanto makes me feel good that he's probably not that hurt, but that he wasn't able to continue. But he was not calm, after that. He couldn't get it back. Because, he was down 1. He could have got back in that match. He forced a slide by that really wasn't there, that DeSanto was just ready for. He fires off that double leg, and then
RBY.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, RBY fires off that double and takes him down. RBY looks super prepared in a couple different positions. He went to that near ankle knowing he was going to get draped there and that DeSanto was going to get on legs. He went to that. He was lined up on that double waiting for that slide-by attempt. So I felt like RBY's preparation level was really high, and it was an impressive result for him. And with DeSanto, obviously it's still a winnable match, but I think there's maybe a little more of a blueprint out for how to slow DeSanto down.
Ben mentioned it. He clearly looked like he didn't know what to do there, and it's surprising to me, at least, because he scrambled with Seth Gross, and I've been impressed with his scrambling the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But he did look lost in that position.
I think everyone goes maybe far ankle, I don't think anyone's gone to that defense against him before. So he'll have some adjustments to make, but like Coach Brand says, if he gets to the corner, he's fine there on that single. He had the angle. He didn't have to come out the back door, really.
Yeah, so let's keep going, though. So then RBY on that second cradle doesn't really pull the leg out. DeSanto kind of gave it to him.
Yes.
And then the cradle that position does not put, well, I'm going to say very little, if no, torque on the knee. And he cried out. So it was kind of like, what the one thing I took offense to is he kind of wanted a way out. His knee wasn't that bad, as evidenced by how hard he was wrestling before that. And, one of the things my dad always told me growing up, he said, if you're going to dish it out, you need to take it. And I took that to heart. And so when DeSanto's out here partying on everyone for the last 2 years, I'm kind of good with it, right? But then when someone's going to party back, you get out there, you take like a man. If that means if your shoulders got to go flat, your shoulders got to go flat, fine. But don't whine and get out of the match.
Sure. I don't know. I think Austin is a unique case emotionally.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, he's different.
He's
but that
different.
doesn't mean
I'm not
if you're
absolving.
Gonna dish it. Okay.
I'm not absolving. I'm just saying.
Got it.
Sure, perfect scenario. Yeah, I think you go over there. But as it stands, it's a -7 for Iowa because they lose by pinpoints, injury default, and they lose a team point in the process of the first injury, which we can have our team point discussion now if you'd like. Permission to team point discuss?
No, why don't we stick on the RBY-DeSanto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, I don't know what else there is to say.
Well, the ranking comes next.
Oh, okay. All right, so we want to go there. All right, now, Ben Askren, intelligent person.
Yeah.
I get people got carried away with what I think a lot of what Spay said he didn't actually mean. He doesn't think it's not a win for Roman Bravo Young or that's just a no contest. He doesn't actually believe it. He knows that's a win, and that counts for the record for Roman, and it counts for Austin in his record as a loss, right?
And he knows it will count in the NCAA seeding and Big Ten seeding and all that
record.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay. The point is, and the point he's correct about, is a match. Actually, let me back up, Ben. Injury defaults happen all the time, right? They are very, very common. Okay. Do you agree or disagree that there should be a uniform application for rankings for injury default?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
It's not that interesting. The answer is
I do not.
Yes,
no,
you have to be
uniform. I do not think so. Why?
Here's why you're wrong.
When we get what? Okay, wait. Let me just tell you my take without thinking about that question too long. If we can see something happen and we have a body of work essentially, right? Whatever the match was before the injury default happened, If you're smart people, why can you not take that? You have to wipe that out and like treat it as a blank slate. I don't get that thought.
No, in my perception of those two wrestlers, not necessarily. I definitely look at the Roman-DeSanto rivalry differently now. However, you do need to have uniform application when it comes to injury defaults.
Why?
Because you are entering hundreds of results every single week. The idea that you know the scenario behind every injury default is crazy. And
well, I would venture to guess you probably have a good idea. I mean, if you're a ranker and your job is to rank, say you only have top 20, right? So if you go past 20 very far, you probably don't have to 25, sorry. You don't have to consider those with past 25. There's probably only a couple injury defaults in matches. And if you're a ranker and you're doing a good job, you should probably watch those matches to get a good idea of what's happening anyways. So I will not absolve them. I think you should watch those matches. I don't think it's hundreds of people, hundreds of matches, sorry.
Okay, that's not even the main point. The main point is wrestling matches, unless there's a pin or technical fall, are 7 minutes long. And to have a match that was so impacted by injury that the competitor could not continue has no ranking value. Okay? There's no ranking value. Absolutely not. And it's funny. It's funny because hold on. It's funny because injury defaults have been happening all year long and for years and years and years. And it happened when John Van Brill and Jason Nolf, the Penn State fans weren't looking for John Van Brill to pass Jason Nolf or for him to be hurt in the rankings then. But now that it would help their guy, they feel, and it would be the same thing if it was an Iowa guy or whatever guy. They're the biased. All the fan bases are biased equally. But it was no different then when Van Brill won by injury default over Nolf. Would you drop Jason Nolf in the rankings because he lost by injury default? No, it's nonsensical. And many of these rankings organizations that aren't paying attention.
Hold on.
What?
Christian, hold on. I did not in any way, shape, or form specify that I would just count the injury default as a loss. I said I would watch what was happening prior to the injury default and take that into account. That's what I said.
Okay, well, you're taking into account, Ben, you're taking into account not a full match. Wrestling matches are 7 minutes long. Who cares?
That's all we have.
No, it's not all you have, because the whole point of a wrestling match is that you can be losing in it and then you can come back and you can win it because there's 7 minutes.
But that's not what happened. So I'm not gonna act like I didn't see what happened. I did see it. Same thing with Sebastian Rivera and Travis Piotrowski. I saw the match and ended in injury default, but I saw what happened 6 minutes before that. I saw. So I'm going to take into account. Now, maybe if it's like a 30-second thing, okay, sure, it's 30 seconds. Maybe if the score is tied or it's really competitive, okay, I get it, right? But when it's very clear who's winning or losing that match, you can't just say, I didn't see that, that didn't happen. It's a ridiculous thought process.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because you're denying a central part of what wrestling is, right? The fact that you have the whole match to do it, that you're prioritizing what we saw, and the fact that who knows what majority of the points were scored, and this throw out DeSanto RBY just in general, who knows what points were scored as a result of the injury, right? Something where someone is so injured that they can't finish.
You do know that if you watch it. You do know that if you watch it.
Not necessarily. You don't know.
Who's saying everyone's gonna be healthy at NCAAs? It's impossible, right?
Well, no, but those matches complete. It has nothing to do with the health level. It's the completion of the match.
But you were just talking about the health level a second ago. You said who knows what points were scored because of the injury.
Right.
So you were talking about it.
This is in an injury default match. I'm not talking about every other match that finishes.
I understand, but you were saying who cares what the health level is, and I said you just said it was bad what the health level was.
Well, I think it's different with
that was
injury
you.
Default.
You brought that up.
No. I'm saying injury default matches. That's the scenario, right? And they have to. And the difference is they have to quit those matches because they're so hurt.
Yeah. Hey, the glory match. Someone brought up in the Facebook comments. The glory match is another good example. And that one would be hard because the match was 7-7 at that point. I thought Brock Huggins was going to win the match at that point. Man, so that would be a tough one because it was 7-7. But when it's clear, like this match, guys, this match was 5-0 and about to be 9-0. I'm freaking taking that into account.
Were you gonna say something?
You can take it into account all you want. It's like an incomplete grade in school. The way I can view it's like a no contest. And then the people that were trying to claim that
it was 9-0.
It wasn't. It was 5. And
it
the
was
match
9.
stopped. The match stopped with like 3 minutes.
Didn't cry, it was gonna be 9. It was gonna be 9-0.
Okay, but he got hurt. They stopped it. They said the refs was like, "You're out of injury time. You're done." Okay.
He was not hurt the second time.
You can't say, "Hey Ben, you can't just say what." How come you get to say it was going to be 9-0, but you also are saying DeSanto can't come back? That's not how it works.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. You just said it was going to be 9-0.
It was going to be 9-0. Yes, that's correct.
Well, but you don't know that.
Well,
you're predicting the future. Yes, you are. He could have kicked out. He kicked out of a tighter cradle against Seth Gross. You have absolutely no idea. It's an assumption.
He didn't kick out. Seth Gross slipped above the head, so that was how he got out.
Regardless,
it wasn't a kick out.
He got out of a tight cradle before, and you're assuming points on the one hand, but you're denying the fact that
it was going to be 5-0.
This is maybe the best motor in NCAA wrestling. Now, am I predicting that? But the whole point of this is that it's not about a prediction. It's about what actually happened, right?
Sure.
What measurably happened is a portion of a match was wrestled, but most of it wasn't, and that's not incomplete information.
Listen, the coaches are kind of lazy, right? They want to coach wrestlers, not do rankings. So invariably, flow rankings, because they're the best, do affect what the coaches rank. So invariably, that does then affect NCAA seeds, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then are we going to say that because you guys won't move stuff around, that those matches didn't actually happen? So then, hold on. So then, if this is going to be the rule, should people who are losing matches fake an injury at the end of matches so you guys don't count them in the future? What should happen?
I was just getting ready to talk about that. It's stupid because the loss still goes on your record, and they're going to look at it in the NCAA seeding matrix and everything. Yes, they are.
But they look at Flow's rankings also, and those matter.
Okay.
So
then they look
I'm asking you guys that question. If I'm losing a match and there's a minute left and I know I'm unlikely to win, should I fake injury so you guys don't let it affect my ranking?
I would say no, and I would seriously doubt that anyone in that match is going to walk out of, like, they go out of bounds 30 seconds left, like, man, this will really hurt my ranking on FloWrestling.
Yeah.
I'm going to, like, go down and hold my hamstring here and say I can't go on so Flo doesn't drop me in their rankings. Are you really thinking about that in the match?
There's no way that's going. And the idea that people were suggesting that was what was going through DeSanto's mind is like, it's like he lost in like the worst way and arguably one of the most embarrassing ways. He quit the match. He quit the match, right? Yes. So the idea that he would, in front of 16,000 people, the number one duel of the entire year, the idea that he is doing some sort of like scheming for a ranking is crazy to me. That's not what's going on.
And he would you're going to cost your team 6 points in a dual meet to protect your ranking, and you ended up costing your team another point. But because you got hurt, your coach lost a team point because he was yelling at the ref.
We're gonna have coaches. We're gonna have coaches throwing in white towels to end matches so Flo doesn't count against the rankings.
No, they won't.
Oh my god,
they don't.
That's what's gonna happen.
Blame Flo. Anything that happens, blame Flo. It's our fault. You know what? You know what we do that nobody else does.
Cowards.
Is we have a policy on our rankings. We don't rank true freshmen because we're not just going to throw them in there against college guys that have resumes. We don't count injury defaults, and I'm sure there's a lot more I'm not thinking of right now. But everybody knows what they are. Everybody knows who does our rankings. He puts his email on there. He puts his Twitter account on there. He answers everything that you ask him. And he
gives an explanation for why people move.
He literally writes an explanation with what happens with every rankings change. And you know who doesn't? Track Wrestling, Intermat, and probably all the other sites out there. And they're not. They're not. And we have transparency, and everybody sees it. And you can ask questions, and everybody else should be doing that. And it's bullcrap. They don't. It's garbage.
Garbage. Go off, King. It's no good. So yeah, that's how you do it. That's, in my opinion, the only way. This comes up like once a year, every single year. This is the loudest it's ever been. We've always explained it. Willie does it the same way when we talked about it. it's the way you should rank it. If you want to take into account for NCAA seeds, sure, I don't have a problem with that. But I think if you're about attributing value to a match, there's not much value in a match that is incomplete because of injury. Period.
Yeah, well, I'd still disagree, but let's move on.
Okay. You're gonna end up in a twisting knee lock here soon.
You don't even know what that is.
No one knows. Excuse me, Mr. Official. What is a twisting knee lock? I feel like it's just some vague words they put in there that they could make it illegal. Yeah, a twisting knee. I mean,
I think that should be like a jiu-jitsu heel hook, because that is something that obviously damages the knee. I think I should say like maybe heel hook. I think maybe that's what they mean, but obviously I don't want to put words in their mouth, so I'm not sure.
Got it. Okay. So that was 33, except for the team point that was lost by Coach Brands, which we wanted to talk about, the idea of losing team points. I know you guys think it's terrible. Go ahead, Ben.
That wasn't exactly what I want to talk about. Coach Brands, for all what have been worth, I heard some of the things he said to the referees in Dallas. He might have deserved the team point. I wanted to talk about the Brian Snyder situation.
What's the Brian Snyder situation?
Well, Isaiah White gets a pin. They throw a party. The referee takes a team point. You should absolutely be allowed to celebrate as long as you do not antagonize your opposition.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and he didn't.
Okay.
That duel really pissed me off because
get him, Bracky.
You had Labriola gets this awesome last second takedown where he just keeps a toe in, and he takes his headgear and he throws it straight down at his feet.
Yeah,
straight down at his feet. Doesn't like spike it or anything. He just takes it off, and it's like a forceful shove off his head, and they take a team point away. I mean, my God, these guys train their asses off. And they're out there battling somebody.
I've never understood the headgear thing. Why is that? I mean,
no.
One time at the VHSL state wrestling tournament, a guy, this dude definitely got screwed so bad. He got hosed, no doubt about it. He lost. He ripped his headgear off. He threw it. It was unbelievable. It was like a boomerang. It circled around and like landed like right in the guy next to me hands. Okay, you take a team point. But the celebratory spike or whatever, I've never understood why that's why that's the thing.
Yeah, it's silly. And then to go back to Ben's point about what Coach Snyder was saying, no one came on the mat. They didn't come on the mat. They were just going crazy, like, in the corner. And Snyder even, like, was, like, keeping them back. And also, the duel is over.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
In basketball, when there's a game-winning shot, they storm the court. The players run out on the court. In football, when there's a game-winning field goal, they run out onto the court. But in wrestling, we have to be robots and just walk back to the middle and show no emotion and be gentlemen. BS. It will grow the sport if these kids are allowed to show emotion.
Yeah.
We want it. So I always go back to a spectator. What you want out of a spectator is you want them to be emotionally invested. It's a lot easier to get emotionally invested in the contest if the participants are emotionally invested. So when we see that guy get the last second takedown or the last second pin and it makes them so happy that they have to celebrate, that is a good thing, not a bad thing.
It also with Labriola, it was the first match of the duel.
Yeah,
like that's getting your team off on the right foot against a top 3 opponent.
Yeah, I don't understand the apprehension around celebrations and stuff like that. I think that's completely different from the coaching thing. And I also think the idea a coach can't come on the mat or whatever or step on the mat, that's kind of crazy too. I mean, I watched and I think Coach Schwab maybe made this point. You watch college basketball, NBA, they're on the court while the game is going on.
And I know people were like, well, college basketball and NBA, they have coaches' boxes. They leave it all the time, and the refs do not do anything. They don't care.
Anyone that says that literally does not watch basketball.
They also, and I don't know if this is in the rule book or not, but wrestling officials, we hear some of the stuff that coaches say, and sure, it's probably inappropriate, but in football and basketball, they seem to let that stuff go a lot more than they do in wrestling.
See, I have a different opinion. I think in both instances, there's clearly a line. And you hear And this isn't a Tom and Terry Brands. This isn't any team-specific thing. You hear audacious stuff from these coaches routinely that I cannot believe they say, and I cannot believe the refs ignore it, right? So, to me, my opinion, and they had very experienced officials on the mat, there's a line there that gets crossed. And I think for your words to lose a team point. Now, the idea of losing a team point, whatever, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. It's kind of a weird part of our sport. But the idea that there's a pretty clear line.
Hold on, Christian. I want to say something there. In basketball, so listen, I don't watch a lot of basketball football, so if I'm somehow a little bit wrong, correct me. So in baseball, the manager can get kicked out of the contest, right? Which I wouldn't mind seeing that in wrestling. That I could be fine with that. But in basketball, I believe that's a technical violation. The other team gets shot at possession of the ball.
Yeah.
In football, it's probably a 15-yard penalty. So, the action on the field is actually being specifically affected by whatever that penalty is. And so in wrestling, you don't want to affect the individual match by that. So I don't really see an issue with the team point. If you want to kick the coaches out, I'm cool with that too.
I don't like something that, like the coach said, taking away from your team's total.
But that's what happens in basketball, Kyle.
I know in basketball, I know, yeah, you're right. But in basketball, it's not just 10 matches. Like, you have all these possessions. Like, you have much more opportunity to get it back and everything. In wrestling, it means so much. It literally cost Kent State a duel this weekend. They would have tied Cleveland State, and I don't know if they would have won on criteria, but they lost. They didn't even get the chance to go to criteria because of a team point.
So what would your solution be?
Well, I like either the technical or Spay has mentioned the yellow card, and then the coach is gone.
Yeah.
You're out. You get your warning because they give you a warning now whenever you go to the table and talk, which I think is crazy too. Like, what if you're just like asking for a clarification or something?
Yeah.
You get a warning immediately.
I would love for these coaches to get kicked out because some of these coaches have such gigantic egos and they won't know what it's like to lose control when the referee kicks them out the first time. They're gonna have a freaking mental breakdown. It's gonna be fantastic.
Well, I would love to see it. I know John Calipari, the head coach of Kentucky, he'll do it like strategically sometimes
to fire him up.
Yeah, I'm serious. He got kicked out of a game a few weeks ago at Arkansas, and they were losing by 5 in the second half and ended up winning by like 9.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
That's
I'm
a common
serious.
thing. Managers in baseball will get kicked out and stuff for fire up the team. I think ejections would be fine. But at the same time, it's like have some. You got to be disciplined there, and Coach Brands basically said it. Like you got to be better there. But everyone knows the thing.
I know that there's a line, but like, why is that line so much farther in football and basketball than it is wrestling?
We don't know that it is.
No, yes, you do. You watch college football, you watch college basketball, you can read these coaches' lips. They are mother effing these officials, and the officials are just talking back to them or just ignoring them. And you should not
get the mother effing official. You should not get to do that.
I've never heard a wrestling coach say that or anything close to that.
I heard some crazy stuff in Dallas. Just that was the most recent thing. That's why I'm referencing that. Obviously, in freestyle Greco, you're a lot closer to the action, so you can hear more of the things that some of these coaches are saying.
All right, team points. Okay,
let's kick them out. Let's kick the coaches out. I think that's a good solution.
It would be great theater.
Yes, I think it would be great theater, and I think the coaches would care more about getting kicked out than they would the team point.
You may be right.
It would prevent the behavior more.
I also like the teeing them up.
Yeah.
Better than the yellow card. Like the yellow card, just like
it's so European.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when you see someone get teed up, like it's awesome.
Yeah. It's a lot more.
So their first violation is a technical violation. The second one they're out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Next one, you hit the road.
And they play hit the road jack.
Yeah,
and then
the home team plays hit the road jack, and the crowd goes wild. They're heckling the coach as he leaves.
Yeah,
it's epic.
They're throwing Casey's pizza. All right. So then, 49-57. Well, 41. Nick Lee just chews through. 49-57. No push for bonus.
What? You didn't even talk about Spencer.
What's to say?
The most dynamic point scoring machine.
Wow, he got a takedown in Fort Tilts again. I mean, he mows through everyone. He's going to destroy everyone in his path.
He got 2 takedowns, right?
Maybe.
Didn't he?
Because he got one in the second to start the second.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Second period tech fall. Breaking
the
news.
most dynamic point scoring machine in college wrestling history.
History.
I think so. I think if you did points per minute on the mat, he would be the highest. I gotta believe.
That could be true. Although I don't know. Kale was pretty dang dynamic.
I don't think Kale scored points at the rate that it was, because it wasn't so turn based. It was, well, obviously, and Spencer has the 4 points and the 3-point near fall, but I think Kale was more takedowns. I believe, and I don't even think Kale's senior year he would have had the bonus rate that Spencer does. I don't think. Well, so someone looked that stat up
again. I think the thing I was going crazy Thursday because y'all were not talking. Consider the competition right now.
We did.
I know. I had to yell about it.
No, we would have gotten
sitting
there.
on the plane.
You were being impatient.
I was okay. Well, maybe so. That would not be the first time. But I just think you're saying all this. Look at the competition he's beaten, right? It's just not there. It's not compared to Zahid, compared to probably Kale.
Maybe it makes them all look bad, and you don't know that about Kale. I mean, go look back, and I don't believe there was any other all-timers in Kale's brackets. I mean. Spencer had Suriano, who's probably going to be, if not an all-timer, fairly close.
He beat Suriano 5-2.
But I'm okay. What?
I think it was 5-0.
Okay.
Sorry,
yeah, maybe not. Yeah,
little thing.
Okay, but either way, Kale had close matches.
Yeah, I know. No, I know he did. So Spencer's lost matches.
Sure, I'm not saying that. I didn't say that he's the best. I said he's the most dynamic point-scoring machine in college wrestling history.
Man, maybe it's true.
I think it will be true. Someone do a statistical calculation of points scored per minute, and I think he's there.
True. Yeah, maybe that's there. If you make it about that, I would probably say I still think it's a little rush. I don't know if we're there yet, but maybe so. I mean, he's clearly amazing, but you know what? He could have if he had teched Glory again and again at Midlands. Maybe it. But it's just we haven't seen him again.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying he's the best. I didn't say that whatsoever. All I'm saying one really specific thing. He's the most dynamic point scoring machine in college wrestling history. That's all I'm saying right now.
Okay.
That's it.
Got it. Dynamic. I agree. He's very dynamic.
Like most points per minute. If someone did a calculation, most points per minute, I think he would be it. Number one.
That's probably true. We should. I don't know how we could run that calculation. Maybe we just get like 10 guys, get like David Taylor and Kale, but we couldn't do it with Kale because the stats aren't there.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, it's not me. I got pins. I didn't score that many damn points. Give me a break.
Yeah. No, he's incredible. He's incredible. The Hodge race got a little more interesting with Mark Hall losing, which I guess we can get to at some point. But Ben wants to talk about Brandon Meredith, Spencer Lee for some reason. So I don't know if we'll get there this show. Any other Brandon Meredith thoughts? He lost to Brandon Cray this week, but that's who you want to talk about. Anything else, Ben?
I saw a lot of pajama pants in the stands because they probably were trying to copy Spencer Lee.
Hey, you know what? I was at a Walmart in Coralville. Those dang pajama pants were $30. What a ripoff. Spencer's got them. Spencer brings the pants to Iowa City, and Walmart jacks up the flannel pajama pant price. It's ridiculous.
I heard Spencer. I heard Casey's gonna start selling Spencer Lee signed pajama pants.
Wow.
At all their stores.
They ought to. They sell about everything else, including 60 different types of pizzas, which we got to eat.
Yeah, you guys will have to tell us about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that after a Brandon Meredith deep dive here. Okay, where do you want to go next, Ben? I don't want to rush you here.
Well, sorry. Listen. I just didn't want you to skip Spencer Lee. That's all. I want to give Spencer Lee his time, and we can proceed.
That's fair. I'll give Nick Lee his time. He tech-falled Carter Happel, a feat that Luke Pletcher the week before was unable to accomplish.
Ooh, nice.
Just mentioning that, Wrestling Nomad. Going to be a great final. Those two look – I mean, once again, Luke Pletcher majored Chad Red again. He looks out of this world good. 49-57. I really thought, Ben, I think we were watching the match together, commentating it.
Yeah.
I think we felt – I know I personally felt Lugo should have and had a good opportunity to get bonus points and did not.
Yep.
and I didn't understand
Yep.
the lack of push. I thought
Agreed.
there were different parts where he really had Verclairn on the ropes from the underhook position. Verclairn was having a hard time staying on the mat with him.
He kept getting stall calls.
Yeah, it seemed like a DQ even scenario could happen if Lugo continued, and then it just didn't, and he's kind of settled in for a lopsided decision. And at that point in the duel, you had just got -7 at 133, -5 at 141. It's a disastrous start for Iowa. I just thought we would see a different approach there. And also, you're going to need to see a different – this is my thing with Iowa. They have the best team. I completely agree. But there's an element of trust I don't have with some of their guys. I think Lugo's good enough to beat anyone. I think Lugo could win a title. But I also see him against Verclair, and I'm like, man, this is the kind of match at NCAAs where you're going to need a bonus point, and you're not going to get a bonus point against a Jared Verclair, and you're not going to get a bonus point. So I don't know. That was just my read.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I feel the same way about both Lugo and Young. I think Lugo maybe a little more so, but those guys should have pushed for bonus, and obviously it didn't come down to that, but it very, very, very well could have.
Young rode for like 3.5 minutes. Why not work for takedowns when he took him down pretty much at will? And they both did the same thing again on Sunday. Pat Lugo beats Alex, can't pronounce your
Histropoulos or something.
8-3, and Young beats Jake Tucker 6-2.
Yeah. And Tucker's pretty quality, but still,
he's a ranked guy.
That's a round 1, round 2 match at NCAAs.
Yes.
You're a guy that was preseason ranked number 2, and then Lugo was ranked number 1. It's very rare that someone like that would not be scoring bonus points. And I think my whole thing with this is they spend way too much time on top. They ride way too long when Caleb Young is not a turner. Right? He's not going to turn ranked guys. It's very rare. If he does, he'll do it off a transition maybe. But those guys can't go with him on his feet. But you allow so much of the match to be at a place where at most you're going to score 1 point on riding time. I don't understand that from a strategic standpoint.
I agree fully. Next topic.
65. They are just going to go.
Oh, yeah.
They're going old school clinches for an NCAA title. They're just going to start locked up, and we'll see what happens. And this time, it went Vincenzo Joseph's way. It's these matches are strange. They're strange to me. It's really, they're unlike any other high powered matches. Like, they just come down to a few positions. And in this instance, they kept in and up in the body lock. And you were very complimentary of Chinzo in the early going.
No, so they only ended up in the over-under one time, and that was the time that Vincenzo threw him. Alex does a great job of getting to his double unders, and Vincenzo's comfortable with his double overs. And I watched the matches on Friday before the real match, and I said, one of the things, he's got to stop trying his inside trip. I know he loves it. I know he got it the first time, but then 3 times in a row he has failed with his inside trip, and he was actually really disciplined. He was really patient. He did not try to inside trip Alex Marinelli again and end up on his back. So I thought that was a really good, smart, patient move by Vincenzo. And he waited when he got a chance at the over-under. He obviously made the most of it.
So I'm surprised how little their matches come down to leg attacks, because both guys have good leg attacks, but it seems like the whole thing is just this upper body exchange. Do you view the end of that match as Vincenzo was fading, or he was just being risk averse, knowing he had a big lead?
Yeah, risk averse. That's one of those where I said he's a gunslinger and he's boring, because he could have put some more effort into that third period, but he said, I'm up by 3 points or whatever it is. I'm good here. I'll just keep on defending.
Now, here's the question: going into Big Tens and probably NCAAs, does this change how you view it?
No, I don't think so.
So who do you think wins, Chinzo?
I picked Chinzo, and I feel like it's Chinzo, but I feel it's like one of those where it's like, if we're doing betting odds, it's a plus 130 minus 100. It's not like he's a 2-1 favorite or anything. It's like he's a favorite, but it's like really close and it's really competitive.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks, like, if it's just going to come down to upper body stuff every single time, it's going to be a real dealer's choice kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it seems like that's what their matches are going to come down to. Only the first time they met was Chinzo he was able to hit him with a double. He hit his inside trip. But really since then, it's just been these upper body exchanges it's come down to. And I think if I'm Alex Marinelli, I feel good about that because I feel like that's more of a 50-50 where if I think it becomes a straight leg attack contest, I think it's problematic. One thing, Chinzo can't ride Alex, and Alex can't ride him. So I think that's notable. It's just going to come down to these exchanges. And, man, I'm excited. I mean, that Big Ten rematch is one I'm going to be really thrilled out. Obviously, Evan Wick and some of these other guys may have something to say about it.
Yeah, we get Wick versus Chinzo this Friday night.
They're not allowed to wrestle. Something's going to happen.
We've never seen it. How have we never seen it? It's kind of crazy, right?
Because they are technically legally bound from competing against each other. And I think we'll see that again this weekend. No, hopefully they do finally.
It's a federal law.
Federal law. Coach Bono and Coach Sanderson are rule followers, so we're not going to see them get into hot water there. So, no, maybe we'll see it. Hope we do.
Hey, they're doing a little tribute to Bobby Douglas on Friday night, so that'll be nice. Obviously, Bono and Sanderson both wrestled for Bobby Douglas as well as a bunch of members of the coaching staffs on each team. So that'd be nice to do a little tribute to Bobby Douglas.
Yes. I don't know if there's a coach that is more revered and respected by former athletes than Bobby Douglas is. They just love that guy.
Arizona State and Zeke Jones just had something for him a few weeks ago too.
Yeah.
He is he's one of those special people in the sport. You can tell he's just had a massive impact. So, yeah, that'll be cool. We're going to have our man Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr. on the scene in Madtown.
He was 20 years ahead of the game because this man was wearing fanny packs 20 years ago when it wasn't cool. And now it's starting to be cool again. Bobby Douglas has been doing it the whole time.
He's been way ahead of the game.
Do you guys know what he had in his fanny pack?
No. Cold spray.
It was a turkey claw.
Why?
Who knows?
What? You don't know why?
I got the fanny pack up one time. And there was a turkey claw in there.
Oh my gosh! Is that some like voodoo charm or something? What?
Voodoo Mama Juju.
I don't know that it was always in there, but at that point in time, it was in there.
Okay, a turkey claw. Who knows what that means? I was Sion. This is why we need Sion to come on and clarify.
Sion would do a tribute to Bobby Douglas.
Yes, yes, he will.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get Bobby to Austin for to do some content with him. So hopefully that works out.
Oh my God! Please let that happen.
Yeah. We're trying to make it happen.
So you guys know that one of Bobby's things is that he could never get names right. So that's exactly where Sion came from.
Oh my gosh, really?
Bobby would have guys on his team for like 5 years and not get their name right at all.
Like he would call Kale Cody, or like he would say Ben is Bob.
He probably figured out Kale's name, I'm guessing, because he was really good at wrestling. But he probably didn't know Sion's name. He probably still doesn't know Sion's name.
That's possible. Possible.
Coach Horton, who was an All-American, who was my coach, he didn't get Coach Horton's name right for a bunch of years, and he was an All-American.
Nice. Maybe it's just like a Jedi mind trick. Like you have to win a certain level for him to learn your name. That's funny. Then, so 65 was crazy. Oh, also I have another point. Maybe we'll get to it later. Yeah, I'll save it. So then 74.
Oh, wait, I want to hear your point.
I will. I'm building to it.
Okay.
74.
Right.
So 65. Penn State strikes back. They start the second half strong. Then Michael Kimmer comes out, hero status, takes out Mark Hall. But the opening exchange is the craziest. Is one of the craziest starts to a match I've seen, because Mark Hall gets Kimmer's hands up to here and bombs him straight to his back, but somehow through some science, Kimmer's able to roll through it and end up on a single leg, which I would still be there on the mat. They would be scraping me, but somehow Kimmer gets out of it, and what a tone that set for the match.
Yeah, I mean. He just threw with a little too much power. He gave Kimmer a little too much momentum to, he kind of rolled up off his back, and then he couldn't hold him there. When I saw that happen, I thought it was lights out 6 points for sure.
Yeah, I said match over. In that moment, once he had it and stepped in, you're saying it's over, right? And he lands straight on his back, you're saying it's over. But I think they got this call completely right, too. I think that's not 2. I don't think he held him long enough. Obviously, in freestyle or Greco, that's 4 all day, but not in this scenario. And do you think that the way that scenario played out really had an adverse effect on Mark, or was Kimmer just going to win this match, barring not getting pinned?
Oof. Well, I mean, adverse effect of the point of he didn't get 6 points.
Well, yeah. Mentally. I'm talking mentally.
Yeah. I don't know Mark Hall well enough to comment, but obviously, like I said this in my Mental Monday. I don't feel like that match is the same at Big Tens or Nationals. I do think Mark Hall got Carvered. I think Carver paid a mental tax on him, and so yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that scramble having an adverse effect on him.
Okay, so why are you so confident? So you're just attributing Michael Kimmer able to get to his legs and finish that consistently as just Carver mental taxing, and that it couldn't be a good matchup. And the fact that Mark Hall is best known defensively for being wicked to finish on head inside, and the fact that all those attacks were head outside, that suggests to me there's something else there.
Yeah, I mean, that was great strategy. I don't think that Kimmer and can Kimmer win next time? Yeah, that's possible. But none of us were saying it was possible prior to that. It just looked like Mark Hall was a little different. He was moving a little slower. His feet looked a little heavier. That's how I feel. Obviously, we'll see it again 2 more times.
Yeah, thankfully, that's likely true. I don't see anything stopping that match from happening again. But I thought – I really felt like there was something there, too, additionally. I thought once he got to legs – I thought he had some of the solutions, especially forget if it was the first or second takedown. It was kind of an extended exchange. The last takedown, he just kind of blew through him, kind of on the double. Yeah. But it was like Hall was running him through his scrambles, and Michael Kimmer just seemed to have the answers there. So
Kimmer he's good in those scrambles, and his body's kind of unique. But I think the outside step high crotch that he was doing was huge. I don't think we've seen him really do that too much before. I thought it was. I told you it was a great strategy against Mark Hall, but at the same time, I felt like that wasn't 100% Mark Hall. And listen, that's on him for not being ready to wrestle in that environment.
Yeah, and then here's my point: Aaron Brooks comes out the next match, all the momentum. He just watched probably a guy he works out with someone lose, Mark Hall. And then he comes out, true freshman, in the most adverse situation you can be wrestling in, Carver Hawk Arena, and wins. It's so like there's like no. For me, if there was an instance where momentum would exist and impact a match,
the same thing be said for Mark Hall.
Yeah, exactly. So like Hall sees Chenzo win and lays an egg, and then Brooks sees Hall lay an egg and he wins. So I'm like, where's the if there's a case for momentum, it doesn't lie in this duel because everything was stacked against Iowa, and then they come back. So I just don't see it there.
I mean, everything affects people differently, right? I mean, it could go to the point where Aaron Brooks is a little too confident, and he saw Mark Hall lose, and he said, "Oh, damn! I better go tighten everything up a little bit, right?" But to what it's worth, Aaron Brooks looked fantastic. His head was all the way in the match. He did not get affected by Carver and the environment that he was in. He competed fantastic.
Yeah, I thought he looked really, really good. I think as we continue to watch 184, I feel better and better about Aaron Brooks' prospects at 184 pounds as a potential NCAA finalist. He can't beat Zahid.
You're right.
But I'm telling you, that's an NCAA finalist caliber wrestler, especially at this weight class. I think. Yeah. I mean, someone like Hidley, I think that's by rankings maybe the second best guy. He can totally beat Trent. I think he has beaten him in freestyle before. So, Taylor Lujan is a unique problem for Aaron Brooks, I think. But this is a guy that's going to be in the mix to make the NCAA finals. Yeah. And I think, Assad loses to Cam Caffey. I don't feel that way.
Yeah, I said no on Friday night, and then you kind of talked me into it. When I thought about it, I think you're right. I think it's Is he going to be in the NCAA finals? No. And could I see him not placing this bracket? Yes. But I could definitely see him making a path towards the NCAA finals for sure.
I mean, my man Hunter Bolin sits at number 2. Now, he is kind of the GOAT, but at the same time, he's a little limited. And I think someone like Brooks can go with him. So
you're just ignoring the Taylor Vins match?
I am. I'm ignoring it. Consider it ignored.
Okay.
I will only consider evidence that supports my thought. That's just being smart, Kyle.
Vince has lost 3 of his last 4. He's been having a rough go too.
He is struggling.
No, I know. I'm just like,
no, that's a good
Vince
point.
kind of controlled that match.
He did. He gave up the first. I think Aaron got the first takedown, and then it was all Vince after that. Yeah, I know all that. I attribute a little of that to true freshman kind of stuff. Brooks is still he hasn't been on the mat all that long, is my understanding. Like, he missed some time with an injury that kind of like, so he's only now rounding into like peak shape. There's a lot of guys that can beat Aaron Brooks, but you can't give me a list other than Zahid Valencia, someone that he can't beat. And then, so you consider that he can beat anyone but Zahid. You consider where he wrestles, his training partners, his coaches, and his pedigree. You feel good about that.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. And then Caffey takes out Assad, which is a rough result for Abe. Yet at the same time, Kim Caffey's been pretty dang hot. He beat Bronigal, Assad, Vins, Webster the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, that he actually got majored by Bronigal earlier in the year somehow. And then so he reversed that. And then Assad was in so many times and just could not finish.
He could not finish on him. So
this is one of those things, guys. What I think back to is, we all said when Assad got pulled that, we felt like he wasn't that much of an upgrade over Wilkie or Nelson Brands, and we said Iowa coaches may have seen something that we didn't see. And now watching both Friday night and Sunday, I'm like, well, what was it? Right? I mean, I see Abe Assad as like a really similar solution that Cash Wilkie. I think. He's really good for a true freshman. He could All-American. He could not All-American, but I see it as like kind of the same thing as those other two.
I view it as they get him in the lineup. The Caffey match, I think, is when he wins the next time around. I think there's a few technical adjustments to be made. I'm going to favor the guy that's on the legs the whole match, right? I think it is.
Well, that's a personal bias.
Okay. Well, I would say it's not a personal bias. I would say that statistically, that would bear out. You
don't actually have statistics. Show them to me.
Well, of course not. That's easy to say. Nor do you have the contrary statistics, other than like your match results.
No, that's not true. You know what I brought up to Brian Snyder yesterday that was very ironic is Mike Labriola was in on the winning takedown against Mike Kemmer and got leg pass to lose. And yesterday, the Ohio State guy, I'm blanking on his name, I don't know why, was in on the winning takedown with short time, and Mike Labriola passed his leg to win the match.
Caleb Romero.
So maybe you should let them shoot on you.
Well, I would say that statistically, I think you're being a little cute right now. The guy that's able to get the legs more consistently, 9 times out of 10 is going to. I don't even say 9 times out of it. That is an advantage.
You know what would be a great statistic, Christian? Would be just fantastic that someone should do. Percentage of times that you get your hands locked on a leg that you finish. Like, how awesome would it be to have that statistic?
Yes. I think that's a huge one. I also think how often awesome. You're able. I would like to know who gets to the lock the most consistently. I bet that.
Let's get both those stats. Amount of times to the lock per match and amount of times finished when you're on the lock. Oh my God, that would be glorious to have those statistics.
We just once you dip into the UFC money and get some statistical person.
We need one of those.
Yeah, we need someone. That's one. Yeah, we talk about this all the time. Wrestling needs better.
We need more stats.
Yeah, I know. Those would be 2 money ones. Okay. Does MMA have super robust statistics?
Not really.
See, they haven't even. I mean,
they're just starting to make a few more but a lot of them are shit. Like, for example, most non-MMA fans think significant strike means it's actually a significant strike. But all significant strike means is you're not hitting them with the jab. So if it's a right hand or an uppercut or a hook, those all count as significant strikes. When obviously like a jab could land really hard, right?
Yeah.
And a straight could be glancing. And so, the significant strike category is actually significantly misleading to most MMA fans.
In my opinion, all your strikes should have been regarded as significant, Ben.
Shut up, Christian.
So that's just how I believe.
Bracky, hit him significantly.
Okay. 97. All right, so we're talking about Brooks. Said my thing there. 97. Here's what I want to get to. I have the quote from Cael Sanderson. He said,
that's good.
He said, trying to put our team together, our lineup might continue to change. Enter Shakur Rashid, 197 pounds. If you're looking for a spot where they might change, where they have Michael Beard, who is traveling with the team, the rumors are starting to circulate. Maybe they shaved the beard, as it were, and we see him.
That's what we're going with.
I don't know.
No,
that makes sense. Okay, trim it. Maybe they just trim it. Who knows? He doesn't even have a beard, honestly. So what do we even say? But I think that's a move they could make, right? Shakur for beard. I don't
think that's that much of an upgrade.
I don't either.
Think it's that much.
They
need someone to replace Brandon Meredith. They need to get who's that one Japanese guy that's training there?
I don't think he's there anymore.
Okay, who was that?
Ray Higuchi.
Higuchi, yeah.
Ray, put Higuchi in the lineup.
Fun fact, CP got catfished one time and tried to make a Spay write an article about Higuchi joining the Penn State roster. And it was a fake article.
That did happen, but I have a good team that can sniff out the catfish. So that happened, but it never hit publish. So it's this is all hearsay. It's all alleged. So
that is so funny.
97. Warner comes out. The ladies' man Jacob Warner comes out, gets the takedown early, and it was like 36 mat returns in the first period. I was exhausted watching the thing.
Yes, I agree. I was so impressed with oh my God, Shakur's ability just to get back to his feet over and over again. I mean that's a tough task, and Warner just kept hustling those mat returns. I was kind of impressed with both guys on that one.
Yeah, so that was a close match, but at the same time, Shakur never really that close to scoring. We're seeing he is having a hard time getting his offense going. And I think that has to be what – say what you want about Michael Beard, the guy's going to be able to get to legs consistently. He's able to do that. He's a really strong leg attacker. And the other thing that we mentioned last week is Shakur's not able to ride guys, right? Like Warner has had some bottom liabilities at times, and – if there's a path to a win there for Shakur, you might think, okay, he could get a ride going. But there was no ride that was really threatening to Jacob Warner. So I think if he's not dominant on top, or that's a potential path to victory, Shakur, without being able to get to legs, is just going to be a tough guy to get wins at this level against the good guys. So
I feel similar. I think maybe the first thing when I stopped wrestling and went to MMA and then came back a little bit, the thing that I felt went right away was my timing, and I feel like Shakur used timing for a lot of his attacks at the upper weights, and maybe it's just not there. So that is something that could come back for him potentially. But I feel the same way. He didn't really get very close to any takedowns against Jacob Warner.
So that move might come. I wonder when we would see that. I mean, could it be Wisconsin where they pull Beard out? I don't see any other moves to make other than, do they throw Gardner in at 49? That was kind of speculated, but they didn't do it.
If you want to kind of ease him back in the lineup, this would be a good weekend to do it.
Yeah, he would hit Ritter this weekend.
Yeah, Ritter and then
Minnesota.
Watkins, I guess, Friday night.
For Wisconsin.
Or Christensen.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll pull the trigger there or not. I don't know if that's the move to make, but it's pretty clear Cael's going to do what he can do to put them in position to win. Also, another nugget from the Cael interview: Nick Lee sleeps 9 1/4 hours every night.
What? I would have missed that.
So basically, he's asked, talk about Nick Lee, his performance, and Cael's like, he's very consistent. He works really hard. He's a really good kid. he does this, and this. He gets 9.25 hours of sleep every night. He just threw that in there. That's a lot of sleep.
It's too much.
Yeah,
Is that too much? It looks like the right amount for Nick.
It's too much.
Well, coming from Dadkey over here, who's getting about 2 hours a night.
Yeah. I don't even think I could sleep 9 hours now if I tried to.
Dude, I cannot sleep 9.25 hours. I can't get to 9, much less it's that last quarter. It's probably really tough. But 9 hours, that makes me wonder, is there like some scientific thing? They're like, you guys need to get 9.25 hours sleep. Whether you're asleep that whole time or you're just laying there, you just need to get that much rest every single day.
Isn't that like the TB12 method? Doesn't he say sleep forever?
Really?
Who's TB12?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Oh, I guess I only watch wrestling and MMA. So when you say some of these other things, it's kind of lost on me.
He's a NFL quarterback.
He has all these
I know who he is.
He's kind of got all these crazy like his diet and his recovery and how he works out, and he calls it the TB12 method.
I think Penn State's very sciencey. It wouldn't surprise me if they had some sort of a thing. Hey, you need to get this much sleep a night, rather than. Yeah. Whereas some teams are just like, hey, get good rest, make sure you're not staying up all night. They're like, no, 9.25 is important or something like that. Dang. So that's very, very exact. Or maybe Nick Lee is just a sleepy guy. Maybe he just needs rest. Who knows? But I thought that was interesting. Who knows? How much did you get in your heyday?
I still need my sleep. That's like one thing I can't do without. I could be cold, I could be hot, I could not eat, I could do whatever, but I need my sleep, man. If I don't get my sleep, I'm going to be grumpy. I'm not going to be as sharp. And I think that's been proven out with statistics that both your body and your mind do not function well on sleep deprivation.
No, very true. Very true.
So good job, Nick Lee. I love it.
Yeah, he looks great. Now, then we go to heavyweight, Big Tone versus Big Snacks. And it looks – I tell you what, Seth Neville's had a really impressive opening little defense there. Mm-hmm. But Tony shows the flexibility.
So did Big Tone.
Yeah, so did Big Tone. But Big Tone went like basically in the splits. He's a 260-pound guy. And then he kept that they were in the Wizards seatbelt, and he, as Coach Brand says, got him back on his haunches and got the 2. And once he got the takedown, he had the bar. You could really say match over. Like at that point, that exchange won the match.
Yeah, I mean that was impressive. I was so impressed by Big Tone. Balance, flexibility. Yeah, I didn't panic in the scramble. It was awesome.
No. So that was the final match. It came down to heavyweight. The match went, as we kind of said and alluded to, anytime you kind of like go down the line, it'll be like this, and Iowa's going to win, and that's when you know something crazy is going to happen. And there were like 4 or 5 crazy things that happened that match.
Yes.
So at the end of it all,
the other thing that we don't think about is that I texted you this after. It was like if Chenzo gets that pin, the Penn State wins, and that could have with that situation that could have very easily happened. Or Mark Cole holds camera on his back, and there was a whole bunch of things that could have made it go. I mean, obviously you don't really expect DeSanto to get injured and that to be 6 points also. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that could have really went other directions.
Another thing I have to talk to you about, Ben.
Uh-oh.
Why don't you think Roman Bravo Young can win NCAAs?
I just where I got out on Roman Bravo Young, when he couldn't win the UWW Juniors last year. I looked at that bracket and I thought Roman Bravo Young is going to win this very easily.
Yeah, and then I thought that too.
He did not, in fact, do that. And then I'm like, okay, maybe he's not as good as I thought he was. So, you know what? If he can get it done against, say, a Seth Gross or Sebastian Rivera, then I'll put him back in that category. But until that happens, I just didn't view him in that same light.
Yeah, and I think it's a 4-person race for 133, and Gross is my pick, but you stack up the skills that he has. I think he's right there to win. I thought he showed that he at least for that point in time he passed the DeSanto test, right? I mean, I felt
absolutely.
That's an obstacle, right? And that's someone that.
Okay, well, what about the Josh Kramer match? And what about the Sammy Alvarez match? What about those?
Yeah, well,
we throw those out.
Well, he won them, so no, I'm not going to throw him out. He won those matches. That's part of the thing. Yeah. Did he look super inspirational against Josh Kramer? No. Did he fade? Yes, absolutely. The Alvarez one I attribute to, well, one, I never felt like he was going to lose that match. I never felt like he was in a bad position. I just think
Alvarez went to overtime.
Right. Okay. But he was never in a position where I was like, oh, he's about to get scored on. It was always Roman almost scoring and Alvarez doing amazing defensive counters to avoid getting scored on. I think, and it was adjustments that Roman was able to make in the match that he was able to get the takedown in overtime. So, yeah, it went to overtime, very close match, but I look at that as Alvarez is really good defensively, and it does show that Roman does have a hard time getting his offense going against certain guys, and Alvarez was one of them. But yeah, I think he's able to. I don't know. He's not my pick, but I think he's one of the 3 or 4 guys that can win a title this year. I think he's pretty dang special in a few different areas.
I'll withhold my judgment till Friday night. I'll give you a better judgment.
Yes, why? Because Friday night he will wrestle
Seth Gross.
Oh baby, that will be a spicy match. Yeah, so we'll see then. I think that's going to be a closer match. I mean, I think Seth has been a little different this year, man.
You're right.
I think this is going to be a really hard match for him.
Nomad talks about it a lot, too, and he was right. After watching the Seabass match in Decatur, he struggles with guys that are really quick.
Yeah, and that's as quick as anyone he'll face. Yeah. I mean, Roman and Rivera, from a quickness standpoint,
fast.
He is real fast. And if he takes an errant single leg, he's going to run behind. Yeah. What?
When is Seabass coming back? Do we know that?
Possibly this weekend.
Okay.
We're trying to find out.
Then, where the hell is Joey Silva? What's his problem?
I don't know.
Did you listen to the show Friday?
No.
I tried to get Ben to make a pick between Joey Silva and Sammy Alvarez. Wrestle a match in Square Garden, live on Big Ten Network, and he goes, "I'm not doing it. Joey Silva ain't gonna show up," and he didn't.
He didn't show up.
You knew. No comment. I don't know what's going on there. I am sad. I wish he was wrestling. I think he's really good and really fun to watch. Now, we're kind of plowing through. Do you want to maybe forego? We did this last Tuesday. We forego questions from friends. We kicked it down the line to Wednesday. Yeah. Do you want to give like your final Iowa Penn State as a team race thoughts?
I did a little Periscope on Saturday morning. I don't feel like it changed my perspective that much. I still don't really think Penn State can win. I kind of went weight by weight, and man, Iowa would just have to have so many things go wrong. It's not just like 1 or 2. It's like they would literally have to have probably 3 or 4 things go wrong in order for them not to beat Penn State, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's probably true, but I know that in the rankings and in maybe even in the match results itself, it didn't bear out major changes. But I just felt like, okay, 25 we know they're going to win there. But like 33, you could go 2 directions in that result, and it went the wrong way for Iowa, right? And now I'm not as sure about him. And also everyone saw that this is potentially a strategy you can use against DeSanto, and he won't know what to do. 41, for Max Murin to miss a duel of that magnitude shows that there's a real injury thing going on there, right?
Sure. Okay.
I don't trust Max Murin, right? That he's going to be healthy. You look at 49 and 57, they're going to be in close matches, right? They're going to be in close matches. There's 3 guys. Right. There's 3 guys. I don't trust. Abe Assad just lost to Cam Caffey.
Yeah.
Abe Assad just lost to Cam Caffey and Aaron Brooks. You can't trust him to place high. So. And, Jacob Warner's loses to Eric Schultz. So there's a lot of things you don't necessarily trust that this is going to be a big-time point scorer. Now, the Iowa fans are just going to take that part and not take the next part. What I'm going to say is, like, I do think those guys are going to place and can place high.
Iowa hater.
That's what they say. Meanwhile, I've somehow been able to raise the most obnoxiously pro-Iowa child that has ever lived.
What are they calling you now? CPSU?
Oh, okay. CPSU. Meanwhile,
Penn State Piles is what they were saying.
Penn State Piles was the thing.
How long does Caleb get to be an Iowa fan before you kick him out of the house?
No, it's great. It's great. I love it. He is so he He was talking to me yesterday. I picked him up from gymnastics. He won the rope climbing contest at gymnastics. He says because he did the rope in the Iowa wrestling room.
Nice.
Then, so I don't know.
I think that goes all the way back to Seabolt.
In Seabolt, yeah, could be that. So then he's talking to me about the facility. He's like, they're going to build a new facility. But then he goes, they've been talking about this building, Iowa building a new facility since 2017. That's 3 years. He's like, these construction workers should get an F-. So I don't know who he talked to about the new Iowa facility, but he's really mad that it hasn't been built yet, that he's like, those guys, the construction workers must have got an F- in college.
He should come here and give our construction workers an F- as well.
He would be devastated if he saw the work going on next door.
They stink.
He is,
I thought you guys were having a new HQ, and then I came and it was the same HQ.
Yeah, same. They're not changing nothing. He's obsessed. He's out of his mind for Iowa. He'll never be kicked out. I love how much he loves wrestling. It gets me very excited. So that's my thought. Iowa's still the favorite, and I never have said that they aren't. But there's just some elements of unease that I have, where I don't have any discomfort saying Nick Lee is going to be top 2, and that Roman Bravo Young is top 4, top 5, and that Chinzo and Hall are going to be in the finals, and I don't have any reservations saying Brooks is probably top 4 this year.
That's a tough one.
It's
possible. It's possible. I think I don't think you should count on it.
Yeah, maybe not. And you know what? Maybe there's too many weights I haven't said. I didn't say 97. I didn't say heavyweight. So yeah, maybe it is crazy. But I'm just still a little. Maybe I'm just. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but that's just how I feel. But all in all, man, hats off to Iowa. Those people showed up. It was insane. It was the best duel experience I've ever had. Oklahoma State-Iowa last year was definitely close and was definitely epic. But like the magnitude of the duel, 16,000, it was so crazy. And like the swings in the match and the wrestling was so good and high level.
Yes.
It was really, really fun and exciting to be there.
Yeah, it was such an awesome dual meet. Without thinking too deep, it's probably one of my favorites of all time. Also, and the emotional swings back and forth were crazy.
Yes, indeed.
Can we get your thoughts on Casey's or what happened?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So we shout out to our lady, Casey's lady Susan. She met us there and had 3 pies for us. And Ben Askren said. He told Bono, I will not eat the taco pizza and I will not eat the breakfast pizza. And sure enough, Susan had taco, breakfast, and pepperoni. And he tried them all. And I liked them all, actually. I liked Casey's pizza.
I did not like the taco pizza. The breakfast pizza was all right. Pepperoni was good.
The pepperoni was good. I liked the taco pizza the most. I did not like the breakfast pizza. Which I was surprised because
it's probably an acquired taste.
But there's apparently there's a sauce scenario. There's the myriad combinations you can have in a Casey's pizza is unthinkable. So there were different things I could have done, but it was pretty good.
Do you think steps are being taken to make my Tuesday headline come true? That we're gonna someday enter a historic partnership with Casey's Pizza?
I would not rule it out. I think it was a booming success for the Casey's brand.
I'm thinking like maybe they have some kind of deal. Maybe you on checkout you enter promo code FLOW. Or something. Mm-hmm. You know,
FLOW pizzas.
There you go.
And you get a little discount, and we're sending business Casey's way. You know what I mean?
I think we should do that.
Some money back. You know,
get a little kickback.
Yeah, wet the beak a little bit.
Yeah. I think that'd be great. You know what we learned about Casey's Pizza? They sell the 5th most pizzas in the country, and they're only in 16 states. Did you know that?
No.
That's mind-blowing.
That is insane.
They're only in 16 states. They're a $9 billion business, apparently.
So they're in the pizza category.
They are definitely in the pizza category. I think Ben and I are now in the pizza category, having that Casey's experience. So that was really cool, and we actually met some people. That was kind of funny. Some people.
Yeah, we had 2 or 3 people show up to see us. On Facebook Live.
That's awesome.
They were watching on Facebook Live and just pulled into the Coralville Pizza.
That's great.
Casey's Pizza. There is a Casey's Pizza. You can't throw a rock without hitting a Casey's Pizza. They are absolutely.
Oh my God!
They are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Very great business, I guess. Okay. Well, that's all we're going to get into because it's 9:45 deep in the heart of Texas. And even in Manitowoc County, it's 9:45. So we got to get out of here. Do you have something? You look like something.
No.
Your tongue.
I'm good.
Okay. Ben,
Sorry.
do you have anything else before we depart?
Yeah. You said you would bring something up later. Did you bring it up later?
Yeah, it was the momentum thing.
Oh, momentum.
I was like, if there was a case for momentum, it would have been it should have happened in that match. Aaron Brooks should have melted down. Mark Hall should have won. All these different things should have happened. It didn't happen. So, poo-poo.
Momentum doesn't exist, I guess.
Well, it exists, but I just think it's maybe a little overrated in a dual meet setting.
Sure.
Okay, Tyler, we're ready to go.
Wait, time out.
Okay.
That other garbage ranking ranked Roman Bravo Young number 1. What are they doing?
That's your people. That's your you advocate for that.
I don't have. They should be fired. Fired.
No explanation either. The most shameful thing, they won't even give an explanation for why. They just move them around. You want to know why? Because they don't know why. Because they just want to move stuff around. They're ranking people that don't even start. People that don't even wrestle. Shameful.
Fired.
Disgusting.
Oh my God.
Hey, you know who's not fired currently? Us. Way to go, Kyle and I.
Yeah.
Not fired.
Not fired.
Don't have to wipe our computers yet. Thanks so much for listening. 454 strong, Flow Wrestling Radio Live. Thanks to Ben Askren. We'll be back tomorrow, come heck or high water. And that's all there is to it. See you then. Happy Tuesday.
Peace.